Welcome to the HVACOLOGY experience, where we talk about all things HVAC industry, topics that are so hot, they are cool.
Okay, here we are with episode number 2 for HVACOLOGY. Kelly Santa Maria Patterson, welcome.
Thanks, Ryan. I'm super excited to be here on episode 2. I can't believe we've made it this far already.
So, Kelly, where does the name Santa Maria come from in your family line?
That Santa Maria is not my name.
Oh, are you kidding me?
I am. No, I'm not. That Santa Maria is not my name. It came from the Nina and the Pinta is what it came from.
Okay,
Yeah, we
fair
come
enough.
from Columbus.
Very good. Well,
Yeah.
I am your host, Ryan Hudson, and with me is Kelly Patterson. And for episode 2, we're going to have to go PG-13 because we are going to be talking about big ass fans. I tell you, Kelly, when I was in third grade Sunday school and the teacher would read from the New King James Version and he would say the word ass, I got nervous. I got nervous
Did
for
you
everybody in the
giggle?
room.
Did you giggle?
I did a little bit. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
got caught. Yeah.
You didn't say it yourself, though. You didn't repeat that.
Oh no, but I would
Yeah.
go back later and I would double check to make sure it was in there. Sure. It was.
Did the
It
Bible
was.
say ass?
Yeah,
did.
but it was talking about a donkey. Today, we're
Yeah.
not going to be talking about a donkey.
No.
We're going to be talking about a fan. Fun fact, Kelly, that I looked up before we had this episode. Did you know that 90% of podcasts have less than 3 episodes?
Are you kidding me?
Nope, people just quit.
We're going to be in
Did
the
you
10%.
did you know of the 10% left that only 90% of those 10% don't get past episode 20?
Oh, please.
So if we
No.
make it to 21, we're going to be in the 1%.
Blackjack.
That's going to be nuts.
I'm excited. And you know what, Ryan?
What?
With you, I believe all things are possible.
Oh, Kelly
Yeah.
Patterson. That is
I
so
know.
kind of you to say that.
Good stuff.
So with us today, Kelly, we have Mr. Ben Pippen, not to be confused with Jay-Z's 2000 lyrical miracle, Big Pimpin', featuring UGK. Welcome, Mr. Ben Pippen.
Thank you all so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, absolutely. So how in the world do you go from high school to being the local areas, the regional, knowledgeable man of all things Big A fans?
High praise, but I appreciate it. So I'm born and raised in Lexington, Kentucky, and went to University of Kentucky after high school. As everyone else there, my life revolves around Kentucky sports still to this day. So my mood is often determined by how the Kentucky football and Kentucky basketball team did the weekend or the week prior. Big Ass Fans is actually headquartered in Lexington, Kentucky. So after school, that is kind of like the cool place to work. And I applied there, started in the quote room. So I was just building quotes all day. After about a year, started in inside sales directly for Big Ass Fans. After about a year of doing that, they actually opened up a satellite office in Houston, Texas. So they asked me to move down there, help start up the office. Lived in Houston for about a year, I think it was 9 or 10 months. And I actually absolutely loved it. I wanted to stay down there. And they closed that office and decided to partner with rep firms like Hoffman and Hoffman. And they moved me back, and they kind of started the conversation between me and Hoffman, but they knew that I was looking to leave Lexington again. I love it, and I love going back. My family is still there, but I was eager to see other things and do other things. And they gave me Jim's contact information, who's the president of Hoffman and Hoffman. I called him up, and he said, call John Chandler. I called John, and I was on a plane 24 hours later. So he flew me into Charlotte and wanted to make sure I liked it here, and it was something I could see myself doing. And I remember the introduction at the Charlotte Hoffman and Hoffman branch, and he brought me around, and there was like a combined 500 years of experience. I mean, I think the shortest tenured person there was like 25 years. So I'm like, holy cow, this must be an awesome place to be. And I got my start in Charlotte, and actually just last year, my wife moved down, and we got married 6 months ago. We bought a house in Matthews, North Carolina, which is about 20 minutes outside, and we're slowly playing roots here.
And your wife is from Chicago, is that right?
Yes. So she's from Chicago. We met. She was at Lexington, Kentucky as well, or she was at University of Kentucky as well in Lexington, and we met in school. She's kind of followed me around, and now we're planting roots here. So she's really a hero, because it was not easy to follow me when I jumped around.
Oh yeah. So are you loving Charlotte, North Carolina?
We love it. Yes. The weather is great. I do not like the cold, and I think that's why I liked Houston so much, because it is deathly hot, but I would still way rather be 100 degrees and sweating than I cannot do below freezing. And Charlotte's kind of perfect, where you still get those crisp days, and but the summers are not awful.
Charlotte is that right size city to me. Like it's pretty and it doesn't feel too big, but it also looks grand too.
So we love Charlotte, and we love Matthews. And Laura jokes that I could be the mayor of Matthews. We have a little downtown that's got 5-10 restaurants and breweries, and anybody that I can try to convince, I'm like, Matthews is the place to be. I'm going to be on the board of tourism, but I really, really love where we're at.
Very cool. So let me ask you this. How in the world did they come up with the name Big Ass Fans?
It's a great question. It's a really funny story. So they actually started as HVLS Fan Company, and they started in 1997, and they were HVLS Fan Company for about 6 months. And the idea behind the product was for agriculture and cattle barns. And the question was, are more comfortable cows, cooler cows, more productive? Will they produce more milk? So they started sending fans out to California, and that's where they kind of pioneered the study. And after about 6 months, it started to take off, and they got calls from farmers, and farmers would say, "Hey, are you guys the ones with the big ass fans? I see them spinning." And credit to our owner, the smartest thing, or the founder, the smartest thing he ever did was he said, "I'm going to take this and run with it," and he changed the name to Big Ass Fans.
I love it.
I love it. That's so cool.
That was the best decision he ever made.
Yeah, because oftentimes I've wondered how to make cows produce more milk. And
it's a fair question.
Now I know. Now I know. So here's the other part of Big Ass Fan. Not that just has a fun name, clever name, but the market disruption that this brand has had is incredible to me. I mean, you think Apple, you think Dyson, you think Tesla, you think Netflix, you think Uber, you think Amazon, and in the space of fans, you think of the creme de la creme is Big Ass Fans. How in the world do you accomplish that as a fan manufacturer?
It's a perfect combination of a good product, a clever name, and being aggressive. And they have leaned in. They didn't just name it Big Ass Fans and say, "Oh, it's a funny name." Their marketing embraced it, and they so much so that they got hate mail in the very beginning, and still to this day.
They still do, yeah.
And people will write in, and say, "I could never support this. This is the worst thing in the world. How can you live with yourself working here, or buying this product?" And they blew it up. They sent it out, and they just leaned into, we are Big Ass Fans. This is what we do. And then on top of that, the product is just cool. You walk into a gym or an amphitheater or a manufacturing warehouse and see a 20-foot fan spinning in the ceiling, moving all kinds of air. It's just a cool product. And then on top of that, man, they've got 3 buildings up there. They have their R&D lab. They've got an awesome state-of-the-art manufacturing facility. So it's a perfect combination of producing a great product, owning your name, the market, and just running with it.
So from an energy performance standpoint, So my engineering brain, there's a comfort that you feel with a fan, but it's not necessarily doing anything for you in the space as far as changing the ambient temperature in the room. But from what I understand, Big Ass Fans has done a lot of design engineering to make it to where their fans are very efficient. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes. I mean, the biggest diameter fans, the 24-foot diameter fans, use a 2 horsepower motor that draws, 2 to 3 amps. So there is almost no energy consumption, and it covers a 15-20,000 square foot area.
So what kind of customer is looking for a big ass fan in like in a commercial sense?
In the commercial sense, you're looking for large public areas. And you think like a food court or a hotel lobby, or a big restaurant with like breweries and things like that, tap rooms, where yes, they might have air conditioning, most of them do, but on those days where it's packed, it's hard for that system to keep up. It struggles. And putting a fan in there just to slowly circulate air through that space, number one, helps circulate cool air, but number two, also provides an extra 4 to 5 degrees of cooling effect. So if it is super hot, a slight breeze across your skin feels better than a stagnant environment.
Sure. Very cool. So now we were talking earlier. So where are some of the cool places, interesting places that Big Ass Fans have been put into? I think you dropped a couple of names earlier before we started the show.
LeBron James has purchased them. And actually the Kardashians, if you watch Keeping Up with Kardashians, Khloe's got a couple in her pool house in an area.
What?
Lil Wayne's got one in his mansion down in New Orleans. I actually just 2 years ago went up to Kyle Busch's man cave up by Lake Norman and sized up a 20-foot fan. So that tells you the size of his barn dominium man cave. It was pretty impressive.
Now, do they have the famous people? Because, I'm always intrigued by this. Do they have those really sleek, architecturally cool haiku fans, or do they have, the big bladed fans?
Bigger. Most of them,
Okay.
they've got big houses, tall ceilings, and they've got 10, 12, 14-foot big fans.
Okay. Good
But
to know.
the coolest haiku ever sold, back in like 2013, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia wanted a gold-plated haiku for his bedroom. And he reached out to us and they were like, yeah, this will be awesome. This is another thing that we can tout as, the only people that would do something like this. And $25,000 later, he got a gold-plated haiku for his bedroom.
So that listeners know, what is a haiku? We're not talking a poem, correct?
You are correct. Yes, the haiku is the architectural, sleek, 3-bladed residential fan.
Okay.
But it's
cool.
poetry in motion, Ryan.
It is.
That was good. I like that.
Yeah.
If they end up using that, you can be credited for it.
You heard it here first. They probably have thought of that. Big Ass Fans is pretty brilliant when it comes to marketing.
Oh, man. So tell me about, Ben, tell me about a situation where you just got to put on the Superman's cape for a customer. Like what was the problem? And then what was the solution that you came up with? And then the after effect of everything.
So this is probably my favorite moment actually in my career as far as getting feedback from a customer. There's a manufacturing facility in North Carolina that was having problems with employee retention. They were in a big industrial park. There was a new Amazon, I think it was Amazon that moved in that had a state-of-the-art conditioned warehouse. Everyone else in that industrial park is, competing for a small pool of employees. And so they looked in the fans. We came out, we laid out, 5 or 6 for their space, and they moved forward with it. And I went out on site for the installation, and I actually had 2 associates separately come up to me and say, we were thinking about leaving this summer when temperatures rise, but we might stick it out now because of this. So obviously that's one of our selling points to, when we go justify these projects to leadership teams, to project management teams, that there is an employee productivity aspect and an employee retention aspect, but to actually hear it from an employee was really pretty cool.
That's fantastic.
That is.
How big was that warehouse?
About 150,000 square feet.
And did they have any cooling at all? Like, were they just opening garage doors basically?
Yes. It was an unconditioned manufacturing and distribution facility.
Wow.
So those summer days, it was probably 85, 90 degrees in there.
Yeah, that's intense. So I'm assuming that summer is when everybody wants a big ass fan, right? Are your sales just going through the roof in the summertime?
The summertime's a lot more fun than the wintertime. Yes. We do our best in the winter to try to preach to people. It's going to get hot again. The summer's coming, let's get out in front of this. But the big ass fan clientele is very reactionary. And that first 85, 90 degree day, my phone starts blowing up saying, I've got a couple other areas, when can you get out here? Can we get it installed next week? And yes, it is fun in the summer.
Do you keep them in stock? Just out of curiosity. I'm not sure actually.
Yes, we do. So our Charlotte
Awesome.
warehouse, actually, that brand new, opened up about a year ago, has got several big ass fan models and styles in stock,
That's pretty.
including the 24 footers. So we can handle any application, big or small.
So in the wintertime, is there any use for a fan at all? Like if I'm sitting around and it's 40 degrees in my warehouse, is there any use for a big ass fan, or does big ass fan have any sort of heaters?
Absolutely. So yes to both your questions.
Okay.
A lot of warehouses, they do have freeze protection and they do have like forced air heat, and that forced air heat rises. So it stagnates to the top of the warehouse, especially in public spaces. We've been out, where the thermostat says 65 degrees and it's 95 degrees at the ceiling. There can be a great delta in temperature, and using a large diameter ceiling fan, running it slowly and just pushing that heat straight down is very, very effective. So much so that, we say, and it's been proven that you can save 0.5% to your heating bills per foot of ceiling. So if you've got a 40-foot ceiling, you can see 20%, in energy savings in those heating months.
Amazing.
And
And
then,
speaking of energy savings, do you guys still do that program with Duke Energy with energy savings?
absolutely. So HVLS fans qualify for a Duke Energy rebate. And if you are a Duke Energy customer, opted into the Smart Saver program, no questions asked. We're a trade ally. We can save $1,100 per fan, and there's no paperwork. There's no registering the product. We show them that a fan was shipped and delivered, and they cut us $1,100 check, and we take that off the customer's bill. So it's really, it's the only rebate program I've ever seen where the rep takes it off the invoice, and there is no paperwork, no hassle at all. It's really pretty customer friendly.
Wow, that's amazing.
So
Nobody would turn down an $1,100 coupon, right?
right. It's insane.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Ben, for taking some time to talk with Kelly and I here on HVACOLOGY. And till next time, Miss Kelly Patterson.
Stay cool.
Stay cool.
Stay cool.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you all for having me. That was fun.
things don't seem to matter much to me anymore. Got lost inside a daydream, get sick of all schemes they play on their machines. I lost so many words as I got older. You would have thought I would have stored them in my love folder. Accidentally wrote these words down, thought all the best of me faded in an endless sea. But you always bring me back at your blue eyes. 20 years of staring at that freckle on your left shoulder. Who would have thought all I needed was to think of you to bring back the words inside? But you always bring me back at your blue eyes. 20 years of staring at that freckle on your left shoulder. Who would have thought all I needed was to think of you to bring back the words inside of me? I drove an hour to see you. Things just seem to matter more to me anyway. Got lost in reality, no answers to cancer, we never got to talk. Lost so many friends as I got older. Wish I had the strength to hold you a little bit longer. Always meant to write these words down, thought all the best of you faded in an endless sea. But you always bring me back at your blue eyes. 20 years of staring at that freckle on your left shoulder. Who would have thought all I needed was to think of you to bring back the words inside of me? Get your blue eyes. 20 years of staring at that freckle on your left shoulder. Who would have thought all I needed was to think of you to bring back the words inside? But you all